Good afternoon from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well today. Sending loads of love to you as usual. Right, this video coming up right now. The harsh realities, the difference between the category A's when you're one punch away from greatness or disaster. Always remember, you can have 10 days of greatness, one punch where you get knocked out and it's an absolute disaster. Egos, credibility, respect, the haters in the background, some on your side, it seems, for the whole journey, and then suddenly, when you lose to another man, they all seem to disappear into the sunset. A lot of people sitting on the fence in the Cat A's, they go through all their time in there without taking one risk, but yet they're there to see all the big events and the others, the main players, taking risks every single day of the week, whether it's running around, getting themselves into trouble over drugs, taking on fights regularly, taking on harder fights when it comes in front of them, and putting their whole egos and self on the line. But much harsher than a boxing ring, Uncle Yami says, because at least in the boxing ring, it's two evenly matched fighters, and if one of them hits the floor, you know, it's all part of the game kind of thing. Not the same thing in the category A's. I'll tell you how I used to think, right? One time, a man offered me out first thing in the morning, right? And the night before we was arguing, but I was arguing back. He was bigger than me and everything, right? He was from up north, this geezer, right? But just as it was about, he was going, listen, you should do, and I was going, yeah, well, I'm here anyway, that kind of stuff, right? But it was bang up time, the door bang. But when I went behind the door, I was thinking, he's going to be there first thing in the morning. People were listening to the argument. What you going to do, Yami? Well, if anything, overnight, nervous, twitchy, thinking, by the time the door opened in the morning, he walked past my door and he said, get down there. I goes, yeah. Everyone was up, waiting. This is what it's like, you know. Many people go running towards where the fight action is so that they can go and report and give their verdict. So he's done better than him and he's not all that and all that kind of stuff. The real men won't go and watch and see and won't be judgmental, if you get what I mean. But that morning, I started to do up my trainers and I said, you know what? I'm going in. I went straight into the room. The geezer threw a punch at me, much bigger than me, you know, threw a punch at me. And I was a little bit wobbled, but I said, nah, that ain't really much. And then I carried on walking. So he tried to punch me as I walked through the door, right, to the room where everybody was going to go and witness a straightener between me and this geezer, right? So when I took that punch, I thought, nah, I don't care. I've done the flurry, rat-a-tat. I hit him with absolutely everything without nothing in return. But he had a massive head. It didn't do nothing. Then I started to feel a couple of thuds, right? And I started to feel a little bit dated. It got stopped. I didn't go on the floor or anything, but the screws came rushing in and we was both down the block. Whilst down the block, I was near enough crying. I was thinking, you could have done better than that. You didn't have a game plan. You could have done him. You're supposed to have finished it from the position you started in and all that kind of stuff. Wondering what all the rest of them were going to say about the fight, right? They were shouting from the block, yeah, me. Yeah, first half you, by the second half, Ronnie. All right, sweet as a nut, but it was hurtful because there's no point in having the beginning, but you ain't got the end, if that's how you're all looking at it. But it was really hurtful to me, and I was thinking, you know what, though? On another day with a game plan, if it wasn't how it was during those moments, I would wish a lot of those moments, some people need to understand that you can't be ready in a prison environment on the spot straight away. I know there's bigger fighters, harder punchers than me who would take on any situation. But for a man like me, I'd need a plan at least when you're fighting bigger, stronger men in the fighting game, right? So we put that down as a draw, but more than likely I was going to lose. Now, when it happened to me, when I had to take my first count, sitting on my backside, right, the whole crowd was there and I was looking, but I wasn't knocked out. But I wanted the whole floor to swallow me up so I never had to see. Because you could read people's expressions on the touchline. The game playing will start in those places. Oh, well, you ain't going to have that, are you? I mean, nah, you got to go back there. I wouldn't take that. I'll do that for you. You know, we got out of jail both times. On those occasions, me being Jammy Yammy and other people buying out both those fights. Sorry, the first fight, a geezer from Leicester got involved. he got involved as I took them 2 punches, but I was dazed. Apparently, he got involved and said, yeah, what about having it with me? I'm your size kind of thing, so you know. But that doesn't do my credibility any good, because you know that I want to win my things on my own. It just so happens on those occasions. But it's a lonely, lonely place when you lose or it doesn't go your way, because the haters, like I said, will come out to get you. They'll make the mind games will start where they used to say hello to you. They'll start saying, yeah, you're right. You know, the one thing I hated as well, right? And this is a true fact, so many of the big names will tell you that, is that certain men, you stay on one side and talk to that person more every single day for years and years and years. You're there throughout all these great fights. Yeah, go on, nice. Yeah, no, you're proper. You are, yeah, you're the best. And all. You know, fighters live on their fights alone. The minute that there's a defeat, you'll soon find out where they go. Oh, yeah, but I liked him as well. Now I don't want to get involved and all that. Reality, check. It's not what you think. A lot of men want to be on the winning side, right? But it is a deep, deep thing. And the other thing as well, I noticed, don't underestimate a man when he has a loss, right? There was a man in the gym one day, right? And him and the next man was arguing, and the man gave him one big left hand and he was sitting on the floor. But the shock of being knocked down and really out of your territory zone and your mind, your brains are scrambled. He's lying there and he goes, what do you want to say? And he's on the floor going, no, I don't want to fight. Because he's in a weak moment, because the shot through the body and everything. He knows he can't get back up and fight. But it sounds like a bit of a weakling when he says, oh, no, leave it. But you know, when he goes back to his cell and replays the video, he's going to be thinking, this boy, they all disrespecting me, they think I'm a pussy, and all right, and he goes quiet for the whole year. Everyone, I'm thinking, boy, since that fight, you lost. You ain't been yourself with your mouth and the way that you was doing it and that kind of stuff. After about a year, him and the Liverpool geezer caught up in a fight in the TV room, right? And they're tussling. Everybody's got in there to watch and all that. I think Spencer Benjamin was there that day as well. Tony Parker, Peter Aaron, everyone was on. I think it was all on the way. Richard Barnard, Andy Anderson from Jamaica, big time thing. Alvin Black was there. So we're all around the thing. You see, this time he's having a fight. The one that got knocked out a year before. He's having a fight this time, but only this time he's locked off the Liverpool geezer's hands and locked them all off like that and pulled out his weapon and started stabbing him with the knife. But everybody was watching, but it seems like he wanted to make a statement from that defeat that he had a year ago, where he felt so much pain over, you know what I mean? Because of the sense of belonging and your own egos wanting people to say, yeah, he's tough, he's a bad man, he's hard, and whatever. On this occasion, the geezer was stuck in the corner, the Liverpool geezer, and he was asking Speller to help him, right? So he was saying, well, you give me that one there, and take that one there, and take that one there. He's got his stripes back on that one moment. That's the way the jungle is. But in reality, you're one punch away from disaster, because you've got to stay in them places year and year after year, remembering that they say when folklore and the history books come out, when people are telling stories like me later on in life, or other people who wrote books, yeah, I was there, but he lost that one that day. Yeah, I was there. But what about all the victories? You don't say how you won 12 or 15 of them, but he lost one. He was taking on fights regular, and that's the fight game, I'm afraid. The more you do it, Slaney took on more fights than everybody else. You've got to remember that. So he's got to have a few draws, and he's going way into his twilight years and still taking on fights. So he's had the most fights, as far as I'm concerned, out of everybody. But again, the egos can laugh her. When they were matched up, right, just say the big names that I've spoken about, all along this journey, right, throughout time, they all look at each other as possible, you know what I mean, that one would be difficult with you, and I'm not too sure whether I can, all right, but it'd be a good fight. And this is the way that the elite lot think about each other, but they wait for a day when you have a fight with someone else and you don't look that good. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I see 3-4 big names fight, and the fights are really sticky and ugly, and it was like handbags at dawn, and then it got stopped. But the other elite names are going, he ain't all that. I could do him, kind of thing. So now they're going to throw down the gauntlet, where before they wouldn't have no tit for tat, either of you with each other. All of a sudden now, he believes after seeing you fight that was a muggy turnout. So then he thinks now that, of course, it don't really mean that, but it does give you an upper hand if you actually believe that you can beat someone based on a performance. Because you're thinking, well, if you're realistic in your own head, when you've had bad performances, they might not have been like that. You see what I mean? But it's not every man that could look good on the great day in prison fights. But someone's always waiting for you to fall. Trust me. I'll be back up later on. Just going to dinner. Sending loads of love to you.